Welcome back, everyone, to the deep dive, ready to explore some more fascinating topics. Today, we're diving into the world of artificial intelligence.
AI.
Exactly, AI. But we're not going down the typical robots taking over path.
Right.
We've got something a little more nuanced, I say.
Yeah.
We're really focusing on AI's potential, especially its potential for good.
Okay.
You sent over Janie Vance's speech, the one from that big summit with President Macron and Prime Minister Modi, right?
Yeah, that's the one.
It is packed with, well, some pretty bold ideas about where AI is going, and frankly, I'm excited to dig in.
Yeah, I think it's really interesting to see how the whole conversation around AI is shifting. I mean, just a few years ago, everyone was like freaking out about the risks,
Oh, totally.
the whole AI safety thing.
Yeah,
And now it seems like everyone's kind of like waking up to the possibilities, the opportunities.
exactly. And Vance really just dives right into that, this idea of AI opportunity, and especially for the U.S. He seems so confident about America's, I don't know, destiny to lead the way in AI.
Well, he makes some good points. I mean, the U.S. really does have a lot going for it, right? Like, look at the advanced chips they're building, the algorithms they're developing, and how they're already using AI in so many practical ways.
He even calls American AI the gold standard.
Yeah.
Which kind of made me think, like, what actually makes it so special? Is it just the tech itself, or is there something else going on?
I think it's got to be a mix of things. Like, historically, the U.S. has always attracted really bright minds, right?
Sure.
And they've built this culture that's all about taking risks.
Right.
That entrepreneurial spirit combined with, like, massive investment in research, well, that's given them a head start. I mean, think about Silicon Valley. It's not just about the tech itself, it's the whole ecosystem?
That makes a lot of sense. But he's not just like waving the flag for America. Vance also gets pretty serious about the dangers of overregulation.
Yeah.
He's basically saying it could kill innovation and just end up helping the big tech giants who are already at the top.
Yeah, I see his point. Too much regulation could really make it tough for startups trying to break into AI.
Right.
Like, imagine you've got this small startup developing a new AI medical device or something.
Yeah.
If the regulations are just, like, impossible to deal with, they might never even get off the ground.
Right. And then the big companies just win by default.
Exactly. It creates this uneven playing field.
And he doesn't sugarcoat the potential consequences. I mean, he talks about startups going under, investors getting spooked, and the whole field just slowing down. It
Yeah.
makes you think about, anyone who's thinking about getting involved in AI, right?
Oh, absolutely. If you're even thinking about joining a startup or putting money into an AI venture, these regulations could be a huge deal.
So where does that leave us? We want AI to be developed safely and responsibly,
Of course.
but we don't want to like crush innovation before it even starts.
It's a tough balance.
It really is, and this is where things get even more interesting. Vance is all about international collaboration when it comes to AI,
Right.
but then he kind of slams European countries for, thinking about regulations that could specifically target U.S. tech companies.
Yeah, it seems a little, I don't know, contradictory.
It does. So how do we make sense of that? Like, is open collaboration even possible when everyone's kind of looking out for their own interests?
Well, ideally, you'd want a global system that works for everyone, right? Something that encourages collaboration while still dealing with ethical concerns and keeping competition fair.
Yeah.
But the reality is, I think countries are always going to prioritize their own interests to some extent.
Okay, so let's say we figure out that whole international mess. Vance then goes on to say that AI isn't just some, like, code on a computer screen.
Right.
He thinks AI is going to totally transform the real world. And he's not just talking about robots and factories.
No, he specifically mentions things like manufacturing, healthcare, even how we manage our energy grid.
It's a much bigger picture.
It is. He's talking about AI optimizing energy grids in real time to make sure we have a stable and sustainable energy supply.
Wow.
It's pretty big stuff.
It is. And what about jobs? I mean, that's what a lot of people are worried about, right? AI taking our jobs.
It's a valid concern for sure. Vance argues that while some jobs will definitely be displaced, AI will also create new opportunities and make some existing jobs way more fulfilling.
Okay.
It's like AI can handle the boring, repetitive tasks.
The stuff nobody really wants to do anyway.
Exactly, which frees up humans to focus on more creative and strategic work.
So it's more like AI is enhancing human capabilities.
Yeah.
Not necessarily replacing us.
Right, it's a tool to be used.
But let's be real. There are some worries about how AI could be used, right? Vance talks about the potential for AI to be used to push certain social agendas or even to censor certain viewpoints.
Yeah, he's really worried about AI being used to, like, manipulate information and shape public opinion. Even mentions these AI image generators that can create fake pictures of, like, historical figures,
Oh, wow.
which, could be used to rewrite history or spread misinformation.
That is scary, especially with how fast information travels online. It raises some big questions about who's controlling these powerful AI tools and how do we make sure they're not being used to manipulate people.
Exactly. That's why we need transparency and ethical guidelines. We got to make sure AI benefits everyone.
Right, not just a select few.
Exactly.
So, seems like we have a lot to unpack here. On one hand, AI has this incredible potential to improve our lives and solve some really tough problems.
Yeah.
But then there are these real concerns about how it could be misused.
Yeah. And how do we make sure it's developed responsibly?
Exactly. It's complicated.
It is. And that's why these conversations are so important.
Right. We need to understand both the good and the bad of AI so we can make smart choices about how to move forward.
And it's not just a conversation for, tech experts or politicians.
Right.
It's something everyone needs to be thinking about.
It really is. Because ultimately, the future of AI, it's going to be shaped by the choices we make today.
And that's why I'm glad we're doing this deep dive.
Me too. Let's keep going, shall we? Vance has even more to say. And honestly, some of it is, well, a little challenging, I'll say.
Yeah, let's get into it.
Okay, let's do it.
One of the things that really stuck with me from Vance's speech, is how much he focuses on the potential for AI to be, weaponized.
Yeah, he even compares AI to
To a weapon.
to the saber of the Marquis de Lafayette.
Oh, wow.
Which is a pretty powerful image, right?
Yeah, it is.
It really drives home the point that AI itself isn't good or bad.
Right.
It's all about how we choose to use it.
Exactly. And he's especially concerned about, authoritarian regimes
Oh, yeah.
using AI for all sorts of bad stuff, like surveillance, propaganda, even military applications.
It's a scary thought.
Imagine a world with AI-powered drones being used to, crack down on protests.
Or target civilians.
Yeah.
That's the kind of dystopian future
Yeah, it's pretty dark.
that Vance is warning us about.
Yeah.
But he doesn't just, leave us there, right?
No.
He also talks about how we can, prevent those worst-case scenarios.
Right, how we can make sure AI is used for good.
And one of his big points is that we have to be proactive.
Yeah.
Not reactive.
We can't wait until AI becomes a threat.
Right.
And then try to figure out how to control it. We need to be setting ethical guidelines, putting safeguards in place, now while the technology is still kind of young.
So it's like building the guardrails before the train leaves the station.
Exactly.
But who's actually responsible for, building those guardrails? Is it governments, tech companies, or some, I don't know, combination of both?
Vance thinks it's going to take everyone working together. Governments, industry leaders, researchers, even the public.
Wow, everyone.
Yeah, we need to have these open and honest conversations about the risks and benefits of AI, and then, work together to find solutions that make sure it's used to help humanity, not hurt it.
That makes sense, but it also sounds incredibly complicated.
Yeah, it's not going to be easy.
How do we get everyone on the same page when there are so many different opinions, different agendas even?
I don't know, but I think Vance is right when he says we can't just ignore these tough questions. The stakes are way too high.
Right. And it's not just about some abstract, future of humanity. He's talking about the very real impact AI is going to have on all of us.
Our jobs, our communities, everything.
Yeah. He seems particularly worried about AI making existing inequalities, even worse.
Especially in the workforce.
Everyone's talking about AI creating jobs.
Yeah.
But what about the people whose jobs are going to be automated away? What happens to them?
It's a legitimate concern. Vance says we need to take steps to ensure the benefits of AI are shared by everyone.
Okay.
He talks a lot about investing in education and retraining programs to help workers adapt to the new job market.
Yeah, makes sense.
And he also emphasizes policies that protect workers' rights and make sure they share in the economic gains that AI is going to create.
So it's not just about developing the tech itself.
Right.
It's about making sure everyone benefits.
Exactly. And that's where I think his critique of some European countries comes in.
Oh, yeah, that was interesting.
On one hand, they're thinking about regulations that could really hurt U.S. tech companies.
Mm-hmm.
But on the other hand, they still want to partner with the U.S. on AI development.
It does seem a bit...
Yeah, a little contradictory.
pick a lane, right?
Yeah, it just shows you how complicated this whole thing is.
Yeah, it really does.
This tension between, national interests and the need for global cooperation. Countries want to be the leaders in AI,
right.
but they also want to protect their own people and their own businesses.
It's a tough balancing act.
It is. It really is.
So, okay, we've got this incredibly powerful technology.
Right.
That has the potential to completely change the world.
Yeah.
But we've also got all these concerns about, weaponization, job losses, and all the ethical stuff.
And this whole web of international relations to navigate.
This lot.
It's a lot to process.
Where do we even begin?
Well, I think Vance would say the first step is just recognizing how transformative AI really is.
Okay.
He believes AI has the power to solve some of humanity's biggest problems, like climate change, poverty, even disease.
Wow, that's a lot.
It is. But he's also realistic. He knows AI isn't some magic bullet.
Right. It's not going to solve all our problems overnight.
It's not going to solve them on its own.
Exactly.
We need to be smart about how we use AI.
Right. We need to understand its limitations.
We need to ask the hard questions, challenge assumptions, and have these real conversations about how we want AI to shape our future.
And those conversations, they can't just involve the experts, right?
No, everyone needs to be involved.
Everyone has a role to play.
Because ultimately the future of AI, it's not up to the algorithms.
It's up to us.
Yeah, it's up to all of us.
I like that.
Me too.
Okay, so we've talked about the risks and benefits of AI, the need for ethical guidelines, international cooperation.
Yeah.
But I'm still curious about, what Vance sees as the specific opportunities AI presents.
Yeah.
Especially for the U.S.
He really sees AI as this engine for economic growth.
Okay.
And job creation.
So more jobs, not less.
Well, he believes AI can make American businesses way more competitive, boost productivity, and lead to higher wages.
But it sounds like he's saying that's not going to happen automatically.
No, it's not some magic trick.
We have to make smart choices.
And invest in the right areas.
Okay, so what does that look like? What are we supposed to be investing in?
Vance says the U.S. needs to double down on AI research and development, training the next generation of AI experts.
Right, and creating an environment where innovation can thrive.
Exactly. It's not just about the technology. It's about creating the whole ecosystem.
But what about the jobs that are going to be automated away? How do we make sure everyone benefits from, the AI revolution, not just, the Silicon Valley elite?
Vance really believes the key is education and retraining.
Okay.
Getting workers ready for the jobs of the future, not the jobs of the past.
Yeah, but how do you even prepare for a future that's changing so quickly?
I don't know. It's a challenge. It is. But it's a challenge we can't afford to ignore.
Right.
We need to be having these conversations now.
And taking action.
To make sure everyone has a chance to benefit from this whole AI thing.
So it's about being proactive.
Adaptable.
Willing to embrace change.
Yeah, the future is coming, whether we're ready or not.
So the question is, are we going to be ready for it?
It's a good question.
This deep dive is really making me think. I feel like I'm starting to understand AI a little better.
Good.
All the complexities, the potential it has.
And the challenges we need to address. And that's really the point, right? To give you the knowledge you need to navigate this crazy new world.
It really feels like AI is at this tipping point, we're on the verge of something huge.
Yeah, Vance definitely sees it as a pivotal moment. He thinks the decisions we make about AI now, they're going to determine what the future looks like.
Not just for us, but for everyone who comes after us.
Exactly.
And he keeps coming back to this idea of AI as a tool, right?
Yeah.
It can be used to build incredible things, but it can also be used for, not so good things.
Yeah.
It all comes down to, us.
Human choices, yeah.
But he's not pretending the challenges aren't there.
No.
He knows there are some powerful players involved.
Big corporations, governments, you name it.
All trying to, control AI, use it for their own benefit.
Yeah, he even specifically calls out those who would use AI to, concentrate power.
Or silence people who disagree with them.
Yeah, or push their own agenda.
It's a good reminder that we can't just assume AI will automatically be used for good.
Right.
We need to be paying attention, holding those in power accountable.
Making our voices heard.
So what can we actually do? As individuals, how can we make sure AI is used ethically, responsibly?
Vance says everyone has a part to play.
Okay.
It starts with being informed. The more you understand about AI, the better equipped you'll be to make good decisions.
As a consumer.
As a voter, a citizen, all of it.
So do your research, learn about AI.
Stay engaged in the conversation.
What else can we do?
Support companies that are developing AI responsibly. Vote for leaders who get it, who understand the importance of ethical AI.
And I guess speak up when you see something that doesn't seem right.
Exactly. Speak out against any misuse of this technology.
It's like he's saying, don't just sit back and watch this happen.
Yeah, we're not just passengers.
We have a voice.
We have a responsibility to use it.
He believes that if enough people demand ethical AI, if enough people push for transparency, then we can actually shape a better future with AI, a future that benefits everyone.
It's a hopeful message.
It is. So let's bring this back to, the listener.
Yeah.
Why should they care about all this? Why is this AI debate even relevant to their lives?
Well, think about it. AI is already everywhere, right?
It's in our phones, our cars.
It's recommending what you watch on Netflix. It's telling you how to get home from work.
Even helping doctors diagnose illnesses.
And this is just the start.
Yeah, AI is only going to become more integrated into our lives.
It's going to touch every aspect of our world.
So understanding how it works, how it's being used.
Yeah, what the potential downsides are.
That's not optional anymore.
It's essential.
Vance's speech is like this wake-up call.
Yeah.
It's reminding us that we're not just along for the ride.
We have a choice.
The future of AI, it's not set in stone.
We're writing it right now, all of us.
And the choices we make today will decide how that story ends.
It's a powerful thought.
It is. So as you go about your day, as you use technology, as you talk to your friends and family about the future,
Remember what we've discussed. AI is powerful.
it can do a lot of good, but there are real risks.
We need to be informed, engaged,
We need to ask questions, challenge the status quo.
and demand that AI is developed and used the right way.
Because at the end of the day, the future of AI isn't up to the machines.
It's up to us.
And that's, I don't know, that's kind of empowering, isn't it?
It is. It really is. Well, that wraps up this deep dive into the world of AI.
It was a good one.
It was. If AI really is the technology that's going to define the 21st century, what role are you going to play in shaping it?
That's something to think about.
It is. Thanks for joining us, everyone. We hope you found this informative, thought-provoking.
And maybe even a little inspiring.
Until next time, keep learning, keep questioning, and keep diving deep.